Have you ever felt like you're juggling a million things at once, but not really getting anywhere? Your mind is like a web browser with 100 tabs open, and you can't seem to focus on a single one. It's frustrating, right? Well, today, I want to share a story that completely changed my perspective on this. It's a story about a young archer, a wise master, and a simple lesson that unlocked the incredible power of a focused mind. This isn't just a tale. It's a blueprint that can transform how you approach your goals, your work, and even your life. Imagine a bustling village nestled in a valley, famous for its annual archery contest. Year after year, people would travel from all over to witness the greatest archers compete. Among them was a young man named Cale. Cale was talented, no doubt. He could hit a distant target with impressive accuracy, but when it came to the high-stakes pressure of the final round, he always faltered. His arrows would stray, his hands would tremble, and the prize would slip through his fingers. He was known as the archer who was almost great. Frustrated and disheartened after another near miss, Cale decided he needed a different kind of training. He'd heard whispers of an old master, a legendary archer named Alara, who lived alone deep in the mountains. They said she didn't just teach archery. She taught the way of the arrow. Cale packed his bow and a few supplies and set off on a difficult journey, hoping to find the secret to finally winning the contest. After days of climbing, he found her humble hut, perched on a cliffside overlooking a serene lake. Alara was an old woman with eyes that held the wisdom of 1,000 storms. She listened patiently as Cale poured out his frustrations. He talked about his years of practice, his near victories, and the crushing weight of expectation from his village. He concluded by saying, "Master Alara, I need you to teach me the technique that will make me unbeatable, the one that will guarantee I hit the bullseye every single time." He expected her to hand him a special bow or reveal a secret stance. Instead, Alara smiled gently. She led him not to an archery range, but to the edge of a fast-flowing river. She handed him a single empty bucket. "Your first lesson," she said, her voice calm as the still mountain air, "is to fill this bucket with water from the river." Cale was confused. Fill a bucket? What did this have to do with archery? But he did as she asked. He scooped up the water and started walking back. The path was uneven, and with every step, water sloshed out. By the time he reached the hut, the bucket was barely half full. Alara simply nodded. "Again," she said. For the rest of the day, Cale walked back and forth, trying different techniques. He walked faster, then slower. He held the bucket with 2 hands. He tried to balance it on his shoulder. No matter what he did, he lost water. He was exhausted, his arms ached, and his frustration grew. "This is pointless," he finally exclaimed. "I came here to learn archery, not to carry water like a fool." Alara looked at him, her gaze unwavering. "Where was your mind while you were carrying the water?" she asked. Cale thought for a moment. He was thinking about the contest, about the prize money, about the cheers of the crowd. He was thinking about how silly this task was and how he was wasting precious training time. He was thinking about everything except the task at hand. "My mind was elsewhere," he admitted. "Exactly," Alara replied. "Your mind is like this leaky bucket. It's full of potential, but it's scattered in 100 different directions. You're so focused on the outcome, the victory, the applause, that you lose focus on the process. The arrow doesn't care about the prize. The bow doesn't care about the crowd. They only respond to the present moment. Your task wasn't to bring a full bucket of water. Your task was simply to walk, one step at a time, with the bucket in your hand." This was the first major turning point for Cale. He realized he had been obsessed with the finish line, completely ignoring the race itself. The next day, Alara gave him the same task. This time, Cale approached it differently. He took a deep breath. He focused on the feel of the handle in his hand. He watched the water ripple in the bucket. He paid attention to each footstep on the uneven ground. He wasn't thinking about reaching the hut. He was just walking. When he arrived, the bucket was nearly full. A small smile touched his lips. He was starting to understand. Over the next few weeks, Ilara didn't let him touch his bow. Instead, they practiced focus. They would sit for hours, just listening to the wind rustling through the leaves. They would watch a single leaf fall from a tree, following its entire journey to the ground. She taught him to brew tea, not just to drink it, but to experience every part of the process: the sound of the water boiling, the smell of the herbs, the warmth of the cup in his hands. It was all training for his mind. Finally, the day came when Ilara took him to the archery range. She pointed to a target far across the valley. "Don't think about hitting the bullseye," she instructed. "Think about your breath. Feel the bow in your hand. Feel the string against your fingers. See only the target, nothing else. The world around it must disappear. There is only you, the arrow, and the point you wish it to go." Kale closed his eyes and took a slow, deep breath, just as they had practiced. He opened them, and his world narrowed. The chattering birds, the rustling leaves, the distant village, it all faded away. He saw only the small red circle of the bullseye. It felt like it was the only thing in the universe. He drew the string, not with force, but with a quiet intention. He didn't think, "I hope this hits." He simply let his focus guide his action. He released the arrow. It flew, a silent streak through the air, and landed perfectly in the center of the bullseye. Kale stood there, stunned. It felt effortless. There was no anxiety, no trembling, no desperate hope. There was just pure, unadulterated focus. He looked at Ilara, his eyes wide with a newfound understanding. She just smiled. "The power was never in the bow, Kale," she said. "It was in your mind all along. A scattered mind shoots a scattered arrow. A focused mind guides the arrow to its home." When Kale returned to the village for the annual contest, he was a different person. He wasn't the anxious, eager-to-please young man who had left. He was calm, centered, and present. During the competition, the crowd was louder than ever. His rivals were just as skilled, but none of it mattered. With each shot, Kale went back to his training. He took his deep breath. He let the world fade away. He became one with the arrow and the target. One by one, his arrows found their mark, landing dead center. He won the contest, but for the first time, the victory felt secondary. The real prize was the inner peace and power he had discovered. This story isn't just about archery. It's about us. How many times do we try to write a report when our mind is on our emails, our social media notifications, and what we're having for dinner? How often do we set a goal, but get distracted by a dozen other urgent tasks? We are all Kale, carrying a leaky bucket, wondering why we feel so drained and unproductive. The secret Ilara taught is the art of single-tasking in a world that glorifies multitasking. It's about bringing your full attention to one thing at a time. When you're with your family, be with them fully. Don't be physically present, but mentally scrolling through your phone. When you're working on a project, close the other tabs. Turn off the notifications. Give that task the respect of your undivided attention. You can start practicing this today. Pick one task. Maybe it's brewing your morning coffee. Just for those few minutes, do nothing else. Notice the aroma, the sound, the warmth. This is mindfulness. It's training your focus muscle. The more you do it with small things, the easier it will become to apply it to the big things, your most important projects, your biggest goals, your life's passion. The power of a focused mind is not about being a robot. It's about being fully human. It's about trading a life of scattered anxiety for a life of intentional action and deep fulfillment. It's about realizing that the true target isn't out there in the world. It's bringing your mind to where you are, right here, right now. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, remember, Kale, and the leaky bucket. Take a breath, quiet the noise, focus on one step, then the next. You'll be amazed at how much water you can carry, and how effortlessly your arrows will fly. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this journey with me today. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content on living a more focused and fulfilling life. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What is one area of your life where you'd like to apply this kind of focus? Until next time, take care